Fife Flyers TV, sponsored by the Bay Hotel, Fife's premier wedding venue.
14 imports is far too much. It's far too much. And for a 17-year-old kid to make the jump from the Kirkcaldy Kestrels to the Elite League, I can't even explain the distance of the gap. It's so wide that it's actually very unfair to these guys. I hear from my boss every day after the game about the ice time of the local guys. That's a mantra that we've been putting out for years, and it's important that we develop these guys. Now, it's a complicated issue because I agree with that. I like all the boys I have playing for me. They're nice guys. You've done your features on them. They're well known in town because they are local, and they deserve to be playing pro hockey in the town in front of where they grew up watching the team. And there's nothing more as a coach than I would like that to happen. There's a couple things at play here, okay? And everybody will say, well, we did it in the 80s and we did it in the 90s, and I was here in the 90s and I remember it happening. But there was, when I first came here, there was 4 imports, 4, maybe 5, and everybody had to use local British guys, and they developed, and some guys came in and played 3 games, and some guys stayed for 12 years, and we had some absolute stars and gems from Kirkcaldy around other teams in the league as well. This is a hotbed of hockey for years and years and years, and for years they were far above anything going on down south. I think that's changed. I think there's a huge investment in ice hockey down south, and I think that the kids in town here, I know a lot of the young junior players, I don't know if they come up against very good competition every week. Sometimes they're going out and beating teams 23-1. It's not teaching them how to play systematically. It's not teaching them how to win and lose hockey games properly. And it certainly can't be fun for the kids that are losing games by that score. So it starts from an early age. We get them, and I watched a junior game, the under-16s the other night. I watched the first period when we were in the rink, and it's a big jump from being a star of the juniors to coming in and playing with seasoned pros who have played in the American League and in Sweden and all over the place, and these guys have made an absolute living at crafting their trade, and they're called professional hockey players for a reason, and they take it very serious. We want our young guys to have the same attitude and preparation coming into this. So coming to every practice and sitting on the bench is no longer enough. You need to work out your physical conditioning as far as your cardio and everything has to be up there on par with everybody else, because you're playing against grown men, and the pace, if a team now got put against a team from 20 years ago, you would see a significant difference of pace of play. Everybody can skate and everybody's good. There is a craving for local guys to play. I recognize that, and that's something that we want to progress. But there's this new league down south, and it's probably based on a model that it has been in the past in Britain, and it's going to allow a lot of Brits to play and make a living at what they do, and ultimately get ice time, because that's what everybody wants. So you're going to see a lot of guys from up north, including probably some of our guys, go down to these leagues. I've talked to all of our guys, and some of them are going to take that route. And my exact words were for them is, if that's what you want to do, I will support you in that 100%. You know, you want to use our facilities, you're more than welcome to. Go and better yourself. Remember, the door's always open here. Maybe it's a nice next step in their progression to getting to the elite league. It's where we're at right now. And if they go out there and they play and enjoy themselves and they live the pro life or the semi-pro life, they're going to get that experience that they're going to have with them for the rest of their lives. It's important that they do that. On the flip side, if they want to stay and continue on with their progression and working hard, they're going to be welcome here. And we're going to do everything in our power to push them harder than they've ever been pushed before in the sport. And when they're rewarded with it, they'll appreciate the value of putting in the work. And they're going to be heck of a hockey players. Our Brits are good enough to play in those games. And I'm so happy that these young guys get to represent their country. There was no chance of so many of me and my friends opportunity to play for my country. Just never going to happen. It's an amazing experience, and certainly the senior Brits. I think the last one, I think I discussed with Frank Morris about playing in it. Incredible experience, and they're going to soak it all up, and it's going to be an amazing, and I hope they do well. Yeah, I mean, you've seen a number of Brits that transition from under 16, under 18s, under 20s into the national senior team, but a lot don't. And what you generally find with the makeup of that squad is they're either playing and excelling at the elite league level, or they're playing in Canada somewhere. I think that's safe to say. Generally, as general rule of thumb, there may be an exception here or there, but I don't think so. We want to get our Brits there, and that doesn't mean if they would have got 4 more shifts against the Dundee Stars or Milton Keynes, that they need to learn their trade inherently, and that means doing it week in, week out on the ice and training, and going to the gym and bulking up, because you need to skate. A guy like Chad Smith, I like Chad a lot. Chad can skate. He's got a little bit of a flair offensively. We've worked hard with him all season about his neutral zone, how to go in and forecheck properly. Certainly D zone, because a guy like Gleason Fournier on Cardiff sees a young guy, maybe nervous out there. He starts licking his chops and he jumps off his back, and then if you're playing man on man, you get yourself, next thing you know, everybody's running around. And a lot will argue, well, if he's out there week in and week out, he'll learn that. And I agree with that, because that's what happened in the 90s, but there was that spec for it. It doesn't happen every week, and I think guys like, Jordan Buesa got a lot of ice with us. But he's not playing for the national team right now. He's playing for his age group, but we would like him moving towards the senior, you know what I mean? And that's with all our guys. But they have to be the size and shape and capable as well. I've always said to them, and I'll say to all our Brits, and I have no problem looking them in the eye and saying that you get out of it what you put into it as well. And I'm not saying, believe me, let me make myself clear, I'm not saying that they don't care. I'm not saying that they don't deserve to be playing hockey in their hometown. I'm talking about working harder, working smarter, and pushing yourself beyond belief, because a lot of these guys, and I've seen it happen in the past so many times, so many talented hockey players come through this town that as soon as they get one little pushback, that's it, I'm never going to get my chance, and leave hockey jaded. So it is a hard struggle for them, and we want to support them and be there for them. And one way to do it is slash import numbers, and I would be the first one to celebrate that. The other way to do it is say we're going to have a developmental season. It can be controversial. Nobody wants to come in and see you losing games. They want to see you win, play all the Brits, and they want us to score in overtime, and everybody goes away happy. I can't write that script. That's not in the script. All we can do is work as hard as we can with the kids and continue to push them. Some will respond, some will fall away, others go on to all challenges. But I say to them in our exit meetings, and I say to them all the time, if you go away, the door is always open. If you come back, go away, make yourself into a stronger, faster, and only play for Flyers too. And if you don't, I wish you every success in the world.